Welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It's time for another damn He-Man video.
Hopefully we can stop doing these.
Hopefully we can. I don't think we're going to. I think there's going to be a lot of drama around this show for the weeks to come.
Well, you know what? I kind of feel bad, but then I'm like, I don't feel bad because he was dragging us like at least on 2 or 3 times this month before the show came out. No one was bringing it up anymore, and he kept bringing it up. So if he gets his ass dragged, he kind of deserves it.
So, tell me how you really feel.
That's how I really feel.
So we're going to talk about the quote-unquote review bombing of Masters of the Universe Revelation, because the audience can't possibly hate it because it was a bait and switch.
Maybe it just sucks.
Maybe it just sucks.
But you know, I said, we joked. I think we said this in videos before it came out. What's going to happen is, immediately, if we were correct, immediately the narrative is going to be, it's because of misogyny or racism, most likely misogyny. And then they're going to be like, oh, they're trying to tank it. They're going to review bomb it, because that's what they always do. And you know what? Media, social media, all this bullshit, everybody's tired of it. They know what you're doing. It doesn't work anymore. You can go write all these shill, kiss-ass hit pieces about it on all these blogs, but no one's reading these blogs. You keep getting rolled into other blogs because you keep like losing readership because everybody knows you're bought-off liars. This just proves it.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about this. I expect the audience score to drop significantly over the weekend.
But it's already been this today.
Not because of review bombing, but because of people actually finding the time to watch the show, being angered by what they saw, and leaving a nasty review.
And I want to point out that this review bombing bullshit, we've seen in the past, which we're going to talk about more later, that you can review bomb it in the opposite direction and put a bunch of positive reviews that weren't real on there too to try to manipulate the scores. We've seen it done many times before. But of course, those reviews, those are the true ones. Those are the right ones. Yeah, Aggie wink.
All right, so before we get into it any further, guys, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Over 210,000 subs. That was quick. Thank you so much for the support. And hey, Bubbly Steve. You can pre-order Bubbly Steve if you go shopclownfish.com. You can also grab the Shadowbinders comics if you missed them the first time around.
Yeah, and Squinking and I, it's not done yet, but we worked on a commercial with stop motion animation to make you a commercial for Bubbly Steve. It's not finished though.
Yeah, next video or two, I'm going to try to get that in there. There's a lot of work I have to do to it, but it's going to be funny. It's going to be funny.
It is cute. I was very proud of it.
Yeah, I think you guys did a good job.
Squinking has been doing those stop motion films since he was like, what, 4?
Oh my God, yeah.
4 or
Godzilla,
5?
I think, was his first.
He started with Godzilla and Legos since he's like 4 or 5 years old. So yeah, he's pretty good at it. Anyway,
yeah, here comes the damage control. We've got today, this dropped on Yahoo. Kevin Smith promises he won't ruin your childhood.
too late.
Too late. Even Grace Randolph.
I was going to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to her review.
Even she's calling his ass out.
She's even like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. You have to remember what your audience is or who your audience is.
Who is this audience for this? Because it's not for old school He-Man fans because it's completely a departure. And like you said, or she, about her saying, if you're a new fan, you come in, you're like, who the hell's Moss Man and why is he dead? You know, it's like.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. She was like, I didn't even know Moss Man was a character. She's like, I just thought the trees came alive and they burned them down in like 5 minutes. You know?
So who is it for?
Yeah, so this is the first thing, honestly, according to Kevin Smith, ever in my entire career where people are deeply engaged with it. And they're like, you go, girl. You got my childhood covered.
No, I don't want you anywhere near my childhood. Stop fingering anything involving my childhood, Kevin Smith.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I just said children, Kevin Smith, and fingering in one sentence.
You go out to Google News, and most of the Kevin Smith news is about Clerks 3. He's already moved on. Like, he's already cashed his check. He's just doing.
Oh, well, you'd think, but he's on Twitter having meltdowns right now.
This is a guy who built his career off of shitting on Star Wars.
But you're not allowed to give it back to him.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, here's the thing. It's not even the choices he made. I think the choices he made were shitty choices. It was the fact that he lied about it. He lied about it.
He lied about it and he went out of his way to cause us trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I'm not real sympathetic. Sorry. I guess, you know, in this case, you should have been honest. We even said, we had an interaction on Twitter. I said, look, I hope it's good. I hope what I'm hearing is not true, Kevin, because I can tell you as a He-Man fan, this is not going to play well. If this is what you're planning, it's not going to go well. And guess what? It's not going well.
Right. But those are all fake according to the media and Kevin Smith. All the downvotes are fake because, why would people not be happy about a show called He-Man, the Masters of the Universe being redone now as a quote-unquote sequel where there is no He-Man and most of the Masters of the Universe, except for the women, are killed or sidelined or just dumb.
I love this. They actually gave it a middling review. This is an audience reviewer. Was it bad? No. It was a missed opportunity, but I love this. The story is basic. The woman feels betrayed because the guy she friend-zoned leaves her to selfishly die, and thus she becomes a lesbian, quits her job, and gets a bad hairdo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tale as old as time.
And they're going to say, okay, now, if you've watched our videos before, you know that we always say, like, half-star ones we usually ignore, and 5-star ones we usually ignore, too, because they're most often are cheated. We saw this before with Captain Marvel. We saw this with She-Ra. Oh, my God, the She-Ra ones. The reviews would be go lesbians, 5-star. That would be the review. Go lesbians. Yeah. And we know for a fact, we saw them do it. They had concerted efforts and groups on Tumblr and Twitter trying to go and vote up Captain Marvel and She-Ra. And the kicker was, that was okay. That was on the side of right. You were allowed to lie to vote it up. But if you lie to vote it down, that's review bombing and that's bad. How about you just be honest and say how about we just be honest?
Yeah. Hey, we didn't put anybody up to review bombing this, by the way. We actually found out after we did our video that this was going on.
Oh, Rotten Tomatoes is a joke anyway.
It is.
Let's be honest. Rotten Tomatoes means about as much as nothing.
Yeah, but everybody's going into defense mode. We've got...
all the show media is.
Comic book resources, of course. We've got Uproxx, which is the outlet that published the interview.
Tried to shit on us
the
interview.
Published the interview with Kevin Smith just a couple of days ago where he brought up the fake news that we were supposedly spreading a year and a half ago. And it turned out to be 100% accurate. I was even on the fence about the Teela Andra thing. I'm like, maybe that's not right. No, even Grace Randolph is like, it's very clear. She said in today's video too, very clear they are a couple. This is her new life. They're a couple. So why won't you seal the deal, Netflix?
Yeah, so they're going to be in trouble for that. But yeah, this is the site that they were throwing shade at us. And he was like, well, if you're real fans, you'd know. And that's the other thing they're going with now, which we said they would do. Well, real fans know that Teela was always important. And this one little punk-ass bitch who probably, who's been going on in the comments. Anytime anybody says anything about us, they're like, they're Karens. They're Karens. I'm like, yeah, oh boy, you showed us. You called us a Karen, okay? But he was, I guess he did a manifesto tweet. I didn't even see it because I don't care.
I don't care.
But apparently on this manifesto tweet, he was going about, well, they would know about Teela because this episode and that episode. And I'm like, well, if you actually watched our show, dumbass, you would know that we have mentioned this. I have no idea. Then you would know.
This show is shit.
That could be.
This show is so shitty.
Otherwise, I have no idea.
They have to put an ad for Poopery.
You would have, that was not me. You would know that we have said repeatedly, especially in regards to the narrative that was being spun around She-Ra, which was women were always background characters, women were always treated poorly, women weren't important in these shows. And, this whole idea is we said, well, the reason we have She-Ra is because Teela was so popular with the girls and popular with boys too. They did the spinoff with She-Ra. And we've been saying that, and always saying Teela has been important to the show. We've always said that. Always said that. These people making this narrative now, well, you'd know that. Yeah, we would. We did. And we've said it many, many times. So every time you bring that up, you look like an idiot.
Yeah, there was really nothing left to say in this. What got me was, again with the Grace Randolph review, and I honestly thought she was going to be a lot kinder than she was, just kind of like, hey, Kevin, you shouldn't have lied, but, the show's okay. Oh, no. She's like, I would be surprised if people come back for part 2.
That's what I said earlier. Even if they do try to bring He-Man back in part 2, which I think that's what they're going to do.
Probably.
Because, Adam's not dead, I don't think. And Sorceress seems to have her power back. So it's probably going to be fine. But if you're going to do that with this, you should have run all 10 episodes at once. You shouldn't have split it. Because you left it there, and it's not good enough to bring people back. If anything, it's going to just chase them away.
Well, it's going to be The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
That's exactly what it's going to be, but worse.
Yeah, but even if you try to get people back with The Rise of Skywalker, which Kevin Smith cried over, by the way, We still haven't seen
Which
it.
one, The Rise of Skywalker or Last Jedi? He got that credit for both.
I think he cried over both. But even if you walk back some of the decisions, the really bad decisions you made in the previous installment, you've already lost half your audience. Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, they probably lost more than half.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker performed abysmally. It compared, for a Star Wars movie in the main, saga, it should have made twice as much money as it did, and people just didn't give a shit.
Well, that's where word of mouth comes in. And what's going to happen here is, where they're getting away with it is, let's be honest, most people don't listen to our YouTube channel. I'm not going to say, in the global scheme of things,
No.
Not everybody listens to us. Or the other YouTube channels that they're covering, what the rumors were and covering this. So they're not going to know any of this. They're just going to see what the media's spinning. Oh, it's good, I'm so hyped, until they go watch it. And then they're going to be like, what the hell was that? And then they're going to tell their friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. And eventually it's going to just keep going down the shitter because, people might give it a look without, because they don't know any better. But you better believe they're going to tell all their friends, like, oh my God, what the hell was that?
Now, 1990s Kevin Smith, had this happened on his watch, would have been all over this, being like, who the fuck comes up with a He-Man show without He-Man?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know, right?
He would have shit all over this. Mm-hmm. And this is where we're at. You literally have become the
You're supposed
villain.
to love it because he's Kevin Smith. Well, you know what? I really didn't care for you, Kevin Smith, before this. So to me, I have no dog in this fight, whether you're pissed or not. The only thing I cared about was He-Man and it being a good show. And it isn't. Objectively, it isn't. Take out you being an asshole to us on top of it. It's objectively not a good show.
If I had seen this as a He-Man fan coming into it without any prior knowledge or any of the drama or any of that, I would have been fucking crushed. I would have been like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. I waited 2 or 3 years for this show, and I was ready. I would have bought the action figures. I would have been there, and as soon as it dropped, I would have watched it, and I'd be like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Well, a couple of things. I mentioned today, everybody's getting mad at us, but at the end of the day, we didn't do anything. Kevin Smith's the one who ruined the show. All we did was stumble into it, not even knowing if it was true. We just said, oh, God, I hope this isn't true. And we inadvertently gave a warning. And that's all we've done. If you're mad about this show, just because you're mad about us not liking it doesn't make it good. Stop blaming us. And then somebody else mentioned they didn't ruin He-Man. They ruined Teela.
Yeah, we said that in the review. Teela became an unlikable, selfish
She's
bitch.
a bitch.
She wasn't
She's
Teela.
the typical activisty undercut bitch that you kind of want to avoid those stereotypes. They doubled down on it. Like you'd think you'd want to, and then, I'm sorry, Geller still can't voice Teela. She's not the voice of Teela. It does not work. It doesn't match.
Nope.
I also want to make a point of mentioning, I did this on Twitter too. It fails the Bechdel test hard.
Yeah, you did bring that. I retweeted it. It does. Because the like Evil Lynn and Teela, when they have scenes together,
when the guys are gone.
When the men are away, they spend all their time bitching about the men.
Mm-hmm. They're dead, they're gone, and they still sit there and complain about them. It was a perfect opportunity to be like, well, let's move on and we can have some girl moments. Well, what do you expect by a movie or a show done by 3 dudes who are going to talk, oh, if you don't like it, you're against feminism and diversity. And it's like, I'm a woman and I think you're full of shit. Stop using women as a shield. Just stop. Cowards.
So as of 11 hours ago, it was at 42% after 81 reviews. That has dropped significantly. I don't know where this one's going to wind up.
It's 25 now. Has it gone? Has it changed at all? Let's refresh and see. No, it's staying at 25 because both sides. Now it's just a battle of wills because both sides are try really hard to don't go by Rotten Tomatoes anyway. It really is not a good judge of anything. It's a joke.
Bland as bland can come, it brought nothing new but insults and character destruction. It failed to glue me to my seat and never got close to hold me near the edge of it either. Everything and more of what has been criticized about this failure can clearly be seen in me a hard pass. If I could give it less than half a star, I would. Why are He-Man's nipples so close to his armpits? And why do they Sailor Moon transform?
Oh my God, we can't play that clip, can we, from Twitter? This is absolutely beautiful, and this sums it up perfectly. I hope we don't get demonetized for this, but it's fantastic. It goes on. It does it. I was telling Pinky Boo about it, and she watched it when this version of it, and I said, it literally, the ring club comes across his ass. She's like, I said butt cheeks because she's a kid, but she's like, no, and then she watched it, she's like, what the flip? She's like, oh my God. And she laughed at it. She just laughed at it.
I was like, what the hell is going on?
Look, his ass cheeks are sticking out. It literally comes across his ass cheeks. And you can see them. You can see his flipping butt cheeks.
This is
And then
not...
he's like,
This is not He-Man. This is not He-Man.
Yeah, the
He-Man's
Sailor
like
Moon was
lightning and
just-
sweat, you
the
know?
Sailor Moon thing was just, I don't know what, are they trying to make it seem similar to what they did with the She-Ra show?
I don't know.
Even though they're unrelated, but that's their go-to for transformation scene. They literally turned him to the Sailor Moon with the arm bands, everything. The little skirt coming across. They literally effing, like, what the hell? They probably sat there and they're probably having this meeting and they're all like, okay, you know what we should do? You know what we should do? You know what, get him mad? Let's give him let's make his transformation scene like that, one of those Japanese anime girl shows. Let's give him a little, because he's wearing a skirt anyway.
That's what this whole show felt like. It was almost like...
Exactly, pissed them off.
Yeah, you saw Kevin Smith, how delighted he was when he was talking about how they were going to kill Orko. Like, we're going to make you like him, and then we're going to kill him, and it's going to be glorious. And I'm like...
Tell me I'm a genius.
You're getting off on pissing people off.
Yeah, didn't she say Grace Randolph? I've been saying something like
Yeah,
that.
she's like, she said, you can move stories forward and expand the audience without giving a middle finger to the existing audience.
That's what we've been saying. And Hollywood does not understand this.
No.
At all. They don't understand this.
Some of Hollywood does. I mean, look, Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Did it right.
And then they get a good one. Until they realized they couldn't win, weren't like the media trying to piss on it too?
Yeah.
Until they realized that people were going to love it and it was going to stay. And then okay, well now it's there and it's going to stay. Now it'll be nice to it. But like back to the point, which was the media. Immediately, here comes the media. It's because you don't like women. It's because of misogyny. It's because they're review bombing. It's because of this. No, it's because it sucks. It's because it's bullshit. I'd say it was balls, but there aren't really many balls in the show.
Oh God, yeah.
It smells like tuna. And that's the end of it.
Meow. Yeah, it's definitely not. I don't think this is review bombing. I think. Well, I mean, I don't know. Is it?
I mean, on some level, I'm not gonna lie and say it isn't. I think people are review bombing it, but I think they're review bombing it both ways, and I think that the truth lies in the middle, and people don't like it.
Yeah, people. Well, comicbook.com is just like, where's the He-Man? There's no He-Man. Money dries tears. I'm sure Kevin and company are so sad they've upset these amoebas and crying into their piles of money and acclaim. Kevin Smith has already moved on. Like, people are like, you should feel bad, Kevin Smith. No, he doesn't.
And my next thing is, why does this Land Pitts writing at home gets a blue check?
Oh, he writes for one of these, like, Newsarama or
Again,
something.
right? You can write one article, you go in there about your activism and get a blue check. But other people could do a lot of things, but it's not the right type of things, and they don't get a blue check.
Rotten Tomatoes user Matthew S. compares what Kevin Smith did with Masters of the Universe to someone making a Spider-Man movie that turned out to be about Aunt May.
Someone else said this, that there was a Sailor movie with a tuxedo mask.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, a lot of Rotten Tomatoes haters are actually coming to one consensus. Masters of the Universe Revelation is, in fact, a Teela series.
Oh my God! Where did you hear that before?
No shit. No shit. No shit. Make a new series. We arrive at the familiar mandate from hardcore fans that Kevin Smith should have made a new series in the vein of He-Man without ruining Masters of the Universe.
He should have, because
I've heard that before.
If it hadn't been Masters of the Universe and he just did something similar but his own thing, I don't think it wouldn't have been that bad, because there was nothing there. When you have an IP that's an established IP and it has a fan base that's kept it around for 30 some years, and you have lore and you have all that stuff and you have people that they love it so much, they're so deeply invested in it. You cannot go. You can make some changes. They did it with 2002. But you cannot go and do what they did and expect people to be okay with it. At that point, you make something and that's similar to and call it something different. Or like you said, do a complete reboot, make this a third season of it, or something like that.
If this had been a reboot, okay, a better done reboot. If this had been a reboot, though, and we had already established that these were different incarnations of these characters, and we already had our He-Man versus Skeletor conflict and all of that, and then we went into, okay, now what happens if He-Man loses his power and these side characters have to make it without He-Man? What happens?
Until he can come back or whatever.
Until he can come back. That would have made for an interesting, like, third season arc. You don't just drop people. Again, who's this for? Because the hardcores are going to be turned off. The new people are going to be lost. And it's just, and Mattel's gonna be like, why aren't we selling toys?
We even could have done a show that sidelined He-Man and got the same idea across, but done it that it actually did feel like it came right after the original series and kept characters as they were, kept them true to their personalities, you know, found a way that He-Man could have been like lost the power for whatever reason, and they have to all go work together to get it back. And he would have, Adam would have been part of it, and the characters you knew and loved would have been part of it. Teela would have been Teela, etc., etc. You could even put Andre in there. They could have been friends like they were in the comic. You know, and she could have been the black woman. She could have been lesbian, but not with Teela. And people would have been okay with it. You still could have got your same basic ideas across without destroying all the characters.
Yeah, and that's what Grace Randolph was saying. Was she's like, you know, you can do this. You can actually expand upon a franchise without completely destroying the franchise. We had other characters that, you know, they gave a lot of screen time to Scareglow and some of the other characters that were in the later lines that never, you know, got any time on the original show. But like, we had characters like Clamp Champ. Mm-hmm. We had we had other characters.
Oh, they had him in the beginning. What happened to him?
He'll probably turn off later. Did
he like throw down his like clamp? He threw his clamp or whatever, didn't he? Like threw it down or something. And Fisto, who was the patron saint of Clownfish TV.
He is. He didn't fist them all.
He didn't. You should have fisted them harder.
Kevin Smith fisted the audience is what he did. He fisted the fan base.
But not in a good way. Not in the kind that's fun.
Not in the lubricated, pleasurable.
The non-warmed up, you know. He
cold.
had his hand in the freezer. And he had like a boxing glove on top of it.
No, because that's
spikes.
Padding. With spikes, yeah. Like brass knuckles.
And icy hot.
Oh, God.
And then he just like...
It's like Lucas.
And then he's like, and you're going to love it because I said so. And then he had this little meltdown about... I think I mentioned the last video, but he was having a meltdown on Twitter. And I think it was probably about Anna, wasn't it? Because she was the one that caught...
Oh, Star Wars?
Yeah. She was the one that caught him saying he watched it in 81. And she's like, it wasn't until 83. And he's like, you said I was a liar. And I can't run. I'm like, you know what? Someone who's making the show and supposed to be up to date with everything that's going on to build upon it would have known that. It's in the source material.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I'm like, you look like a little toddler. And my son was like, is he having a stroke? Because all he hears is like, me. And he's just like, is he okay?
He's not Kevin Smith. He's Faker.
He is.
That's it. This is not actually Kevin Smith. He died a long time ago.
He's Taker.
He's Taker. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's Taker.
Taker.
He took the franchise and he fisted it.
Let's hope his wife doesn't fake it as much as he fakes it.
I'm gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants.
Does. Bye.
Bye.